Has anyone here seen the last presidential address to the nation? Have you ever wondered how a president or politicians prepare for such a large public address? Would it be the same way a teacher presents to a class, or how a priest would prepare to present a sermon to a church congregation? Well, I don't think so. I think in preparing for your speech, you must first consider the demographic factors of your audience, and in doing so, you must first know how to analyze an audience sociologically. There are 6 specific factors I would like to talk to you about today on how to consider your audience sociologically. The first factor is age. Age may be viewed different for cultural reasons. For instance, the Native Americans and the Asians view their elderly in a different way than the Americans and the Europeans do. They look to the elders for wisdom and experience and insight, whereas the Americans and Europeans, it's not such a significant factor to do so. Also, different age groups have different opinion or interest topics, or interest on your topic. For example, if I was presenting a speech regarding the U.S. government to children, how would it differ if I were to present the same topic to an elderly community? With children, I would most likely use analogies and colorful presentational aids to try to make them understand the 3 branches of the government. Whereas with the elderly community, I could reference examples in history that have already taken place and relate them to modern-day politics and politicians. Another factor you might consider is gender. Different genders of an audience may also change the attitude of a topic. Topics such as abortion, date rape, anorexia do not typically have the same effect on both men and women, for instance. Affectional orientation is another factor you may consider. In speech preparation, you shouldn't assume that gay and lesbian men and women feel the same way about certain views, just as heterosexual men and women don't feel the same way about views either. Education levels may vary in your audience, and that's something you may wish to consider. Also, if you're not sure on the education level, you can use examples and main ideas that are clear and easily understood by all different education levels. A very important factor that sometimes people may forget, and that I forget sometimes, is religious beliefs. This one can be a difficult thing to determine sometimes. Things you may want to look at would be the location in which you are presenting. Think about giving a speech about the importance of a religion to the modern man to a mixed crowd of people in Alabama versus giving that same speech, the same topic, to a mixed group of people in Iran. And you see how your speech may differ a little bit with the receiving audience. Lastly, you may discover that there are other cultural factors prevailing in your audience that are not covered here. And if so, you can attempt to mold your speech and so that it will be more relevant to your receiving audience. To sum things up, when preparing to speak to an audience, you should consider the various demographic factors of your audience so that your speech will be relevant, interesting, and with luck, non-offensive. I appreciate you taking the time to listen to my speech today, and hopefully you found something useful here. Thank you.